Page 17 on Wings of Songs, very famous melody by Mendelssohn. It's actually a vocal solo, but there's some nice piano solo arrangements of it. So let's see what we got here. Look it over, I see it's 3 lines long. Treble and bass clef, 3 sharps in the key signature. We're still in the key of A major. Make sure you can do the scale for A major, 1 octave up and down. Do everything I explained in the scale video. 6/8 time, which explains all the 8th notes, because now an 8th note gets a count. And there's 6 of them in a measure. I'm going to take the right hand first. It's here when it comes in. Here, you're in this position. So it's 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. And then the next measure, same thing. 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then reach down here. Now hopefully you can go ahead and do this because there's no black key. You can fit here, here if you can. If you can't, you got to do that. And then if you do that, then in the second line you got to use 3rd finger on the first B, and then you can use 2nd. So the last measure of the first line, if you can use the fingering in the book, do it. If you can't get up in here, then here, 2nd, and then 3, then 2. We adjust a little bit. Into the second line, it's an A sharp. And now, the last line, let's look at this. They have a 3 and then a 2. You don't have to do that. You can just stay there and then scrunch up. There's different ways of fingering things. It's not that one fingering is right or wrong, it's just different ways of fingering it. However, I'm going to encourage you to use the fingering in the book here because the idea of different fingers on the same note is something we need to get a handle on in piano playing. It really helps out a lot if you can get good at it. Get to where you don't even have to look at the keyboard. So the idea is I'm in this position and I want to be in this position. I want to be here. And I'm going to use the repeated notes to change positions. We do this a lot in piano. When you're trying to figure out a fingering, because they won't always give you finger numbers, figure it out. Well, you can change positions on repeated notes to prepare what's coming. So here I'm a 3, and then I just do a 2. And I'm back in position where I want to go. So I will encourage that 3 and then 2. Left hand just has the broken chords. The end of the first line, you're here. Okay, so much for the left hand. And put them together, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. And here. Which fingering you're using here in the right hand, I don't know. Anyway, you put the hands together, then go back over the treble spots and smooth them out, and go through the whole thing and make sure there's no hesitations anywhere. Go as slow as you need to go is not important. It's just no hesitations. There's a steady 8th note pulse throughout. Then I think about the articulation, which they're not giving us any. This is pretty connected here at the beginning. At the end of the first line, you can lift up. It's a new phrase. You can lift up there, and then lift up again. Then that is all one phrase there. So the phrasing will be the last 2 measures of the first line, then lift up, and then the first 2 measures of the second line. And then now it's pretty much connected all the way to the end, the rest of it. Just connect it all the way through. The left hand, you can just connect it except for the rests. Once you have an idea of the articulation you want to use, then try the dynamics. PP is very soft. This is a very gentle flowing piece. Then third measure, the P, that's the melody. The left hand stays soft, very soft. And it's basically in that area. Well, after you get to know it and you get to feeling it a little better, if you feel like getting a little louder and softer, go for it. Just stay in the soft area. And the speed. Well, 6/8 time, we're going to feel this in two, sort of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why the eighth notes are beamed 3 at a time. They're beamed according to how you feel it in this arrangement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I exaggerate it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you don't exaggerate them, you feel these. Just as 1, 2, 3. Just feel it in 2. Speed. Andante is kind of a leisurely stroll. You're just kind of taking a walk and not really going anywhere. You're just casually walking. And that's the feel of it. It's not the speed of the beat necessarily. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. It's the feel of it. The left hand plays that last A, and the last few measures are all very soft like you were at the beginning here. Then the last 2.5 measures or so is the same. The song ended with that dotted half note in the second measure of the last line. There. The song's over right there. This last little bit is like a coda or an afterthought. So it's like we have an introduction, kind of introducing the piece, setting the tone, harmony, the speed, and at the end it's like an afterthought. After the song's over, you're just an afterthought. It's very common. At the bottom of the page, they want you to do the inversions, and I'll let you do that. They're easy to do. You just A, and you simply put the top note here, and then do it again. Put that on top. And where you put them in the music is up to you. It's those treble clefs. You're probably up in here. But I don't know if you want to go that high up. I'll leave it up to you as to where you put them. Then the B flat major, same thing. You're here, and then put the B on top, and then put the D on top, and then here. At root position, first remember A, root position, that's where every other note, and the bottom note tells you the name of the chord, A. And then first inversion is first time. The second version is again. If I go again, it's back to root position. Same thing, root position, first inversion, second inversion, you get them. Now, I disagree with the book on one thing, but people disagree on everything in music anyway, so big deal. But underneath the piece there, it says the finger substitution. Like the first measure, the second, the last line. In the right hand, you have a 3 and then a 2. They're calling it a finger substitution. I don't. I think a finger substitution is something else. I do a lot of finger substitutions in piano playing. Some people don't, but I do. This is simply changing fingers on a repeated note. I start playing it, and the next note I play another. I'll get to finger substitutions, or what I call finger substitutions, when the book presents them. But I would not call this a finger substitution. If you do, you're liable to confuse some people, because if some people were to tell me about the finger substitution, I would picture something else rather than what this is. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'll give us 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, go. 3, high, 2, rest.